Alignment without dimming your light. Before we go any further, let's arrive here together. You don't need to soften yourself to be welcome. You don't need to shrink your presence to belong. You don't need to explain your energy, your joy, or your depth. Just notice your breath. Notice the way your body takes up space, not apologetically, not forcefully, but honestly. This is a space where you don't have to manage how you're received. A space where your light is not something to monitor or adjust. Because alignment is not about becoming quieter. It's about becoming truer. And truth has a presence all its own. Many women learned early on that safety comes from being agreeable, from being easy to understand, from not taking up too much emotional, energetic, or physical space. So when the language of alignment enters into the picture, slow down, soften, be present, it can sometimes get tangled with an old message. Be smaller. But alignment was never meant to dim you. And yet, so many women find themselves unconsciously shrinking in the name of peace, lowering their voice, toning down their joy, second-guessing their truth, especially in rooms where they sense they might be too much. This creates a quiet conflict inside, because on one hand, you want to live in alignment, but on the other, you don't want to disappear. And the truth is, you don't have to choose. Here's the reframe that changes the conversation entirely. Alignment is not self-suppression, it's self-honoring. Alignment doesn't ask you to trade your joy for calm. It asks you to ground your joy so it can stand. True alignment doesn't mute your light, it stabilizes it. When you're aligned, you don't need to push your presence into a room. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to perform your joy. Your energy settles into itself, rooted, clear, unapologetic without being sharp. This is the kind of confidence that doesn't seek permission, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly, but is felt immediately. You can be expressive without being chaotic, radiant without being performative, joyful without being ungrounded. Alignment allows you to be fully yourself without force. Let's return to the idea of light. If you've ever dimmed yourself, it wasn't because you lacked confidence. It was because you were reading the room for safety. That was wisdom, and it served you when you needed it. But you are not required to stay there. As you grow more aligned, something shifts. You stop asking, "Am I too much?" and start asking, "Am I being true?" You stop editing your joy for comfort. You stop compressing your truth to be palatable. Not because you're trying to be bold, but because it no longer feels honest to hide. Alignment doesn't make you louder, it makes you clearer. And clarity carries a quiet power. This is radiance that doesn't burn out, light that doesn't flicker, a presence that is both grounded and expansive. As we close, let this settle onto you. You don't need to dim to belong. You don't need to shrink to be aligned. You don't need to trade your joy for acceptance. Your light is not a liability, it's a signal. And when it's rooted in alignment, it doesn't overwhelm, it invites. Let yourself move through the world this way, steady, centered, fully expressed, not rushing, not hiding, not performing, just present. Carry this with you. Alignment is not about becoming less, it's about becoming whole. And your radiance is part of that wholeness. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If these reflections speak to where you are, you're always welcome to return. This is a soulful space for intentional living, honest reflection, positivity, and finding your way back to what feels true. Until next time, stay rooted in soul and wrapped in joy.